Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Welcome to my September wrap-up. I didn't read that much, but here we are. First book that I read was Death by Dumpling by Vivian Chien, and this is available on Kindle Unlimited, which I was not expecting. However, I do have a long list of cozies that I want to try to read because I want to see if there's anything that I like aside from Arsenic and Adobo. And surprisingly, I actually did like this one. I rated it 3.5 stars, and I am willing to at least continue the series and see how far I get, although my expectations for whether or not I make it to the end are pretty slim, if I'm being honest. But in this one, we're following Lana. Her family owns a noodle shop, and someone who orders lunch from them pretty regularly is found dead a few hours later. She is the one who delivered the lunch, so of course the detective is looking at her as well as the chef in their restaurant. We follow their story from there. Lana decides to get some amateur sleuthing in and figure it out on her own because she knows that she's innocent. She believes that her coworker is innocent, so she wants to figure out what really happened. It was a pretty easy read. I didn't love Lana. That's another thing, is that I usually don't like the main character, so it is what it is, but I will at least try to continue and see how I feel about the rest of the series. This is still ongoing, I believe. I think the next book is scheduled to come out next year. Next, I ended up DNFing Blood Colony by Tananarive Due. This is the third book in the African Immortal series, and I just want to say that it's not because it wasn't good. It's not because I don't think that it would be interesting. I really enjoyed the first two books in this series. However, this one seems like it's shifting to focus on the next generation, and I don't really want that. I really liked where we were, and while I understand the shift, I don't necessarily want to read about that, so I decided to give it up. In that first book, we are following Jessica. She is married to David, who her coworkers call Mr. Perfect, but Mr. Perfect has some secrets, and those secrets are slowly starting to come out in a way where David has to basically protect that secret by any means necessary, and it gets pretty brutal, and that's part of the thing that I enjoyed about it. So if you're interested, I would definitely recommend that you try it. After the second book, see how you feel, and if you want to continue, you might feel like I did, where it's focusing on new people and I don't really care as much, but it was still a really good series to begin with. Then I read King of Ice by Asia Monet. This is the final book in the Cartel Element series, the first of which is Air of Flames, which I talked about a lot last year. In this one, we're following Javier, the oldest Ruiz sibling, who ends up in an arranged marriage to his assistant Brielle because she needs protection. I ranted and raved about this series so much, I don't know what else to say. It's available on KU. All 3 books are out. Highly recommend. It is a mafia cartel series, and I had the greatest time with it. I rated this one 4.75 stars. The only reason that it didn't get 5 stars is because Brielle did something at the end that pissed me off, but otherwise it was a really good series. I do have a series review that is spoiler free, so I will have that linked in the card at the end in the description for you. Then I read Amari and the Despicable Wonders. This was a buddy read with Jess and Robin, even though Robin abandoned us. But anywho, in this, we're following Amari during her 3rd summer with the Supernatural Bureau of Investigations. And honestly, I'm tired of Amari going through it. Like, I just want her to be happy. I want people to stop thinking that because she's a magician, she's not a good person. I'm getting real sick of some of the people in the supernatural world. Now, this was supposed to be a trilogy, and honestly, it does end in a pretty good place. However, I do see the potential for more, and it is confirmed that there are going to be 2 more books. Am I going to read them? Absolutely. Honestly, I'm not even mad that the series got extended because I do really like being in this world. I do really like the characters. I'm hoping that this 4th time around, people start treating Amari with the respect that she deserves, because she has definitely earned it time and time again, literally 3 years in a row. I don't know what else y'all want my girl to do. So I am excited for the next books. He is working on book 4 right now, so hopefully it comes out sometime in 2025 and we don't have to wait forever. But if you're not familiar with the series, and you absolutely should be, whether you read Middleburn or not, I think that you should read the series. In the first book, Amari and the Knight brothers, we are following her as she is trying to figure out what happened to her brother because he's gone missing. A lot of people are just like, oh, he probably ran away, or maybe he's dead, whatever. And she's like, nah, something's not right, and I'm gonna figure it out on my own. I loved it. I love this world. I love the characters, and I'm excited for more. Then I read the second book in an upcoming vlog that I'm not going to tell y'all about. Y'all have to wait until that vlog comes out, so Can't say anything about that. However, I did like it. I also rated it 4.5 stars. I'm really excited for that video to come out so that I can talk about it more and promote it more, but it was a really good book, and I was surprised because we started off in such a rocky way that I was like, none of this makes sense. I don't like these characters. I don't like this setup. I'm not gonna like this. And then I ended up loving it. So more on that later. Then I finally read Mirrored Heavens by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is the final book in the Between Earth and Sky series. The first book is Black Sun. I really, really love that first book. Rated it 5 stars. Fever Star had middle book syndrome in my opinion, and this one I rated 4 stars. So I am happy with the way it ended. However, it ended in almost an unexpected way to me. I think my expectations were that it was going to be the worst possible situation for everyone, and it didn't end that way. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying that I was surprised by that because of how the series has gone. It is an adult fantasy. There is war brewing. It is brutal. So I was expecting the absolute worst, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I always have a hard time explaining what Black Sun is about, but it's essentially where you're following Serapio, who is a reincarnation of the crow god. And I don't even know if it was a prophecy or if his mother just decided that this was his fate. And so she gathers people to help her with this plan, and Serapio has been taught this his entire life. So he's like, this is what I have to do. And in order to do that, he has to fight the avatar of another god. And like I said, it gets really brutal really quickly. So I don't know. I don't think that's a good explanation, but I really enjoyed this series. If you are a fan of adult fantasy, I definitely recommend, because the series is just so good. While I didn't love that second book, it set us up for a really explosive ending, and that's kind of what we got. So I'm happy. My final book for September was another DNF. I decided for whatever reason that I wanted to read Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, and it was an anticipated DNF, and that's exactly what I did. And this for following a girl who on her birthday is alone at a movie theater. She meets a guy there, and it just so turns out that that guy is her boyfriend's father, who she's never met. And the thing is, her boyfriend isn't great, and so you know what's gonna happen. It's sort of a your dad will do type situation, and I don't really love taboo situations in books, so that's part of the reason why I stayed away from it for so long. But everyone talks about it, and I know, Heather, you tried to talk me out of it and I didn't listen. Are we surprised? Of course not, but it is what it is. I did it because of curiosity. Didn't love it, and honestly I found it very predictable, and honestly it didn't need to be as long as it is because it's over 400 pages, and for what? I made it 200 something pages in, and it really just doesn't need to be that long. Like I said, it was pretty predictable. I knew exactly what was going to happen, and the fact that, like, you know, if you're looking for spice and whatever, it doesn't happen for real until like 62%, which is crazy to me. Like, it just didn't need to be as long as it was. It was aggressively mediocre in my opinion. So I feel like a lot of times I end up reading things just to see how they are, and if I'll feel a particular way, the particular way being negatively. And I already know this about myself, so I already knew what was going to happen. I will say though, because someone's mad at me when I was like, I'm not having a good time, Pike, the dad, is my favorite character in the whole thing because he's the only one with fucking common sense. Like, Jordan, the female main character, is stupid. Her boyfriend Cole is a piece of shit, and you see that from chapter 1. So I was just like, why are we even here? And then, like, there's literally a part, and this isn't really a spoiler, it has nothing to do with the overall plot, but there's a part where she says something like, in her head, she's like, you don't deserve me, but you give good massages. And I'm like, honey, that's not enough. Obviously, I DNF Birthday Girl, which was not a surprise. Dasha tried to convince me to finish it, and that wasn't fucking happening. So, yeah, I mean, if you like taboo situations, if you like a lot of angst and pining, then you might enjoy it, but it wasn't for me. But that is everything that I read in September. Let me know if you've read any of these or if they are on your TBR, especially if you're gonna start reading the Cartel Element series, which you absolutely should if you are a romance girly, especially if you like mafia and cartel romances. Get on it. All 3 books are available on KU. No excuses. Otherwise, that is all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.